She packed a bag, put on lipstick, and told her husband she'd be gone for the weekend.
Wow. That line, right from the source material you sent over, it just hooks you immediately.
It really does. It sets the stage for what we're diving into today, a really raw, very emotional story, pulled straight from that source.
Exactly. So today we're doing a deep dive into this narrative. It's complex, full of these incredibly tough human choices.
Yeah, and our goal here is really to unpack the layers. We're looking at betrayal, the moral weight of choices that maybe seem small at first, and the kind of consequences that just echo forever.
It's definitely a challenging story. Powerful, though.
Very powerful. So we should probably tackle it like the source does, right? Act 1, the breaking point. Tom's perspective first.
Right. So what's the basic setup? What do we need to know about Tom and Lisa's life before this moment?
Well, the source introduces Tom looking back on his marriage to Lisa, 24 years. They got married young, built a life.
And the source really highlights how Tom was, like, super supportive of Lisa's career. She was rising fast in law.
Yeah.
Yeah, while he was in tech. Maybe a quieter kind of path compared to her, high-profile world.
And you see this difference in priorities pretty quickly in the text. Tom mentions wanting a family.
Right, something that the source says never happened. Lisa kept putting it off, then eventually said she didn't want kids at all.
And he tried to accept it, the text says, but that desire for family was always there, like this unmet thing.
Yeah, it contrasts Tom's steady, maybe even a bit passive nature.
Mm.
Lisa later calls him someone who stayed the same, didn't push back, almost like a houseplant.
Oof, houseplant, that's rough.
Yeah, contrast them with Lisa's, dynamic, always expanding life, both work and personal. And then the moment, it all just shatters for Tom.
The confession, and what's so striking in the source is how cold it is. Clinical, almost.
Totally. She doesn't confess with, remorse. She just announces her plans.
Yeah.
Weekend with Greg, a partner at her firm.
Like she's talking about a business trip or something. Listed the itinerary. Dinner, dancing, then we'll see where the night takes us.
And the source adds this detail that makes it even sharper. This comes right after they'd been intimate the night before.
Ugh. That just adds this whole other layer of betrayal, doesn't it? Shows the distance.
Absolutely. And when Tom finally asks that core question, Lisa, am I not enough anymore?
Yeah, what did she say?
The source gives us her response, and it's just incredibly cutting. You were, but I'm in a phase. I need something new.
A phase. Wow.
And maybe the worst part, she says she wants more options after 24 years.
Options, right. The source paints Tom's reaction really vividly. It's not anger, it says, but silence. Just total crushing silence.
Yeah, he feels like a disposable placeholder, just paralyzed. Not just emotionally, but the text mentions him thinking about the financial ruin of divorce, too.
Completely isolated. The quote is, I sat there like a ghost. Just devastating.
And the tension really ramps up here in the source material. It describes Tom's thoughts, the emptiness, the humiliation. He thinks about using an old pistol he has.
Not on her, though.
No. The source is clear. It's about ending his own pain, the noise in his head. But he doesn't do anything yet. He just watches her pack and leave.
And then he's alone. The source says the weight of his life just crashes down, looks at old photos, thinks about family he's lost, how they didn't really have friends. Just Lisa.
And then he starts acting. Deliberately, he logs into their joint bank account, starts moving money. We don't know why yet, but it's clearly planned.
He writes something, too.
Yeah, a short message. The source calls it not a letter, really, just a final statement, and then very pointedly leaves his wedding ring on the coffee table.
These are all such calculated steps.
Exactly. The source shows these final actions from his side, sitting there, losing track of time, then picking up the gun.
In his last words.
Just a whisper to the empty room. I'm sorry. And then the source just says, everything went black. That's the end of Act 1. Just brutal.
Wow. Okay, so shifting gears completely. Act 2, Lisa's return, the discovery, and the immediate fallout. The source flips to her perspective now.
Right. It shows her weekend in Chicago with Greg. Feeling, in control, maybe even a bit thrilled by crossing the line.
The text even says she found Tom's lack of reaction before she left almost disappointing.
Yeah, like part of her wanted to fight, wanted him to show he cared enough to, object more strongly.
But she went anyway, and the source describes her coming home Sunday evening, just normal things, pulling into the driveway, getting ready for what she thinks will just be an awkward talk.
A talk she felt she could handle. Until she opens the door.
And the discovery scene in the source? It's intense, visceral. The smell hit me first. That's what she notices.
Then seeing Tom on the couch,
Yeah.
the blood
Arr.
everywhere. Her reaction is immediate. Physical collapses outside, throwing up. Just complete shock.
Then the police arrive, and the questioning, according to the source, it immediately points to her absence. The officer's look.
Yeah, the source says she knew he understood the timing, knew what it implied.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was probably right, she thinks.
And then they give her the final devastating piece, an evidence bag, Tom's ring, and a printed note.
The note. The source shares the whole thing, and it's not just a suicide note. It's an accusation.
Can you read it?
Yeah, it says, Lisa, I loved you for 24 years. I gave you everything, and you walked out like I was nothing. I pulled the trigger, but you pulled the plug. I hope you remember that every single day.
Oh my God. You pulled the plug. That hits hard.
It's the turning point for Lisa in this story. The source says, I couldn't breathe. It's the moment the weight just lands. For the first time, I felt it, the full weight of what I'd done.
And she realizes something else, too.
Yeah, this chilling thought the source conveys. Tom didn't just leave this world. He left it to haunt mine. The consequences are just beginning.
And they pile up fast. The source mentions her waking up alone in a hotel, seeing the news. Then Greg calls.
Right, Greg's shaken. He's been suspended from the law firm, probably going to be fired.
And why? What happened?
Tom's last act, before pulling the trigger, he sent an email detailing the affair to, like, half the firm.
Wow. Another calculated move. So Lisa goes back to the house eventually.
Yeah, after it's cleaned. But the source says it feels like a ruin. The silence is heavy, and she feels him there, his presence lingering.
Then the money. That comes out too.
Yes. She goes to the bank, discovers Tom transferred almost everything out of their joint account just before,
Yeah.
where
to go?
to several children's charities. And the final gut punch detail the source includes.
What?
He left her exactly $24. $1 for every year they were married.
$24. That's brutal poetry right there. A message.
A very clear message. And Lisa asked herself that question right then, according to the source. Was it worth it?
And the answer's already obvious.
Undeniably no. And this is where the source says the haunting really kicks in. That night, she's drifting off. She dreams she's in their living room, but it's a nightmare. Tom is there, damaged, eyes glowing, and he speaks.
What does he say? The source gives the exact words.
Yeah, chillingly. Well, look who finally came home.
Oh.
And then he delivers her sentence, basically. Every night you close your eyes, I'll be there, he tells her. And you'll never forget what you did.
She wakes up screaming, right?
Yeah, and the source adds this creepy physical detail. The TV remote, which was next to her, is now across the room. Blurs that line between nightmare and something else.
So it feels real, not just a dream. Okay, Act 3. The long-term consequences. The haunting doesn't stop.
Not at all. The source says she can't stay in the house. Even after it's scrubbed clean, there's something else. Chills, weird smells, objects moving.
Like the wedding picture.
Exactly. Found face down, the glass cracked.
Yeah.
A pretty potent symbol.
And her career, the thing she valued so much.
Gone. Collapses completely. Her boss calls her in, basically says, we'll keep you on payroll till month's end, but your time here is over. Just like that. 20 years of reputation, poof.
So she has nowhere to go.
She goes to stay with her sister, Janice. Janice is supportive, but the source notes she asked Lisa the same quiet question.
Was it worth it?
Yeah. And the note just hangs there. But the haunting follows her, even to the sister's house.
Another dream.
Yeah, in the guest room. Tom appears again. You think you can run? He asks her. You can leave the house, Lisa, but you'll never leave me. It's relentless.
So she tries to get away again.
Desperate move. Tries escaping to a lake cabin. Driving. Hoping for a reset. Maybe a little peace.
But it doesn't work.
Not even close. The source describes this terrifying moment on the highway. She hears a voice right next to her. Yeah. Nice day for a drive. And he's there, in the passenger seat, looking like he did when she found him, jaw-shattered, red eyes.
Oh, God, that's horrifying.
And he says to her, echoing the note, you fell asleep, Lisa, just like you did when I needed you. She turns to look at him and crashes the car.
Does she?
She survives, badly injured but alive. Wakes up in the hospital. Her sister's there, still supporting her.
But the haunting.
It continues. Through rehab, after she moves into a new apartment near Janice. She still sees him, hears things, feels him. But the source notes a change. He's not angry anymore. It's described as patient, waiting. And Lisa's internal state, she doesn't call it guilt. She thinks, this isn't guilt, it's punishment.
Just accepting it. Wow. So the source jumps forward then.
Yeah, big jump. 25 years later, Lisa's 66, living alone, isolated. Greg, long gone, married someone else.
And Tom.
The source is blunt. He never left. Still there.
So how does it describe her life now?
She just sits, reflects, looks at old photos, them happy, her vibrant back then. Now she just waits. And the haunting continues, often just his voice asking.
Let me guess. Still worth it, Lisa.
Exactly. That's the recurring question.
And the ending, her final thoughts.
The source says she knows her end is coming. And in this final, really chilling twist, she hopes he'll be there when it happens.
Hopes? Why?
To make sure I never forget what I did. That's how the narrative closes her story.
Good Lord. That story just drawing straight from the source like that.
Yeah.
It's incredibly powerful and deeply disturbing.
It really is. It sticks with you.
So if we look just at the characters as the source presents them, Tom.
Well, initially, he's shown as supportive, maybe a little passive, the houseplant idea. He seems genuinely hurt, erased by what Lisa does. But that hurt, it transforms him.
How so?
His final actions, the email, the money transfer, that specific $24, the note itself, they show this calculated, almost poetic desire for revenge, for consequences that last long after he's gone. It's a dark shift.
And Lisa, her transformation is just as stark.
Absolutely. She starts ambitious, successful, maybe a bit arrogant, thinking she can manage this affair, this phase, without real damage.
Believing she's in control.
Totally.
Yeah.
But finding Tom, reading that note, it shatters everything. The source traces her journey from shock through this crushing guilt and paranoia to finally just accepting this lifelong punishment. She loses her career, Greg, her peace, everything. Left only with the consequences.
It really makes you weigh every action, doesn't it? The source presents so many points where maybe, just maybe, a different choice could have changed everything.
Definitely. Which leads to some heavy questions this narrative leaves you, the listener, thinking about.
Okay, let's lay those out. First, how much responsibility does each of them, Tom and Lisa, actually bear for how tragically this all ended?
Second, is Tom's haunting, as the source describes it, meant to be a literal ghost? Or is it purely a manifestation of Lisa's guilt? Or maybe the source leaves it deliberately ambiguous? And does that difference matter for the story's impact?
And third, given how final everything feels, were there specific moments looking back through the story where either Tom or Lisa could have made a different choice that might have led somewhere else entirely? Where were those turning points?
Yeah, those are the kinds of questions this source material forces you to grapple with. It's a tough story, but those questions linger.
Absolutely. It's a lot to think about. If the story moved you, don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube.